All right, mic sync 1 2, mic sync 1 2. Fa la 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 la. Is it too early for Christmas? Deck the halls with boughs of holly. La, 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 la. All right, in this video, I am going to be showing you guys the top 3 biggest mistakes people make when they are squatting. Number 1, the biggest mistake I see people make is when they first set up for the squat, they have their feet parallel, shoulder width apart. Now, don't get me wrong, this is a squat, but this is not how you want a compound squat. This is a quad squat. What you want to do is you want to open up your toes like this, which is going to activate your posterior chain, which in this case is your hamstring and your glutes. Now, when we have our toes pointed out like this, we also want to have our knees pointed out. And what I mean by that is when you go down, you don't want to have your knees caving in like this. See how my knees cave in? They're not over my ankles. So the key with this is you want to drive your knees out right over your ankles, just like that. See how my knees are over my ankles? I could do this, but I'm driving my knees out. Pretend like there's a piece of paper underneath your toes and you're trying to rip it apart like this. This is going to activate your glutes and your hamstrings as well as driving your knees out over your ankles. But here's the thing, everybody's different, right? So not everyone's stance is going to look the same. My stance might look like this, but another person's stance might look like this. Why is that? Because everyone is built different.
I'm built different.
Obviously. The size of their hip joint is going to depend on whether their toes are pointed out more or if their toes are pointed in more. If you got wide hips and you got big hips, your toes are going to be out more. If you got small, narrow hips, your toes might be pointed in like this because it will be a struggle. It'll be more of a struggle for you to exterior rotate your legs. Now, another very common mistake I see people make is they don't breathe properly. Now, what I mean by that is, one, they don't brace their core, which is probably the most important thing when you squat, is bracing the entire trunk of your body. The entire trunk of your body is your abs and your lower back. So what I do to show my clients how to breathe and to brace properly is 2 ways. So what I tell them is to break the belt. So if you were to have a belt, one sec. Pretend like this is my lifting belt. So if I was to have a lifting belt, sorry for the scratching. If this is my lifting belt, what I want to do is I want to take a deep breath in, and then I want to make myself as fat as possible and try to break this, try to break that belt. So try to break it, make myself fat. So that's what you want to do. You want to breathe, embrace. So what this is doing is it's taking all the pressure off of your spine and it's putting it on the muscles surrounding your spine, which is your abs and your lower back. Another way I teach my clients how to breathe is above water and below water because they don't know when to breathe. They know how to breathe now because they know how to break the belt, but they don't know when to breathe. So a common theme I tell them is above water, below water, right? We're all human. So if you're above water, we can breathe, but if you're below water, you can't. So pretend like there's water right about here, right? What I do is I unrack the bar, walk forward, find my feet, and then I'm above water, right? I can breathe. So I breathe, brace, break the belt, and then I go below water. Now down here I can't breathe, so I'm bracing the entire time, breaking the belt. Breathe, brace. As well as thinking about number 1. I'm keeping my feet out like this, driving my knees out, tearing that piece of paper underneath my toes. Amazing, so 2 steps. Now you know to break the belt, and now you know above water and below water. So now you know how to breathe, and now you know when to breathe. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Mic check. Okay, the third biggest common mistake I see people make is, 1, they either hinge with the hips way too much, or they don't hinge enough. I saw a guy on Instagram the other day who was like, try and high bar squat for the first time, and guy was like, he unracked it, right, with a high bar, and he's like, da, da, da. And guy was like, oh, that hurt my hip. Like, what the hell? No. You have a natural hinge with the hips when you squat. You just don't want to initially hinge with the hips when you squat, when you start the squat, and then do the squat. So popular. Sorry. So you don't want to start the squat with a hinge and then a bend. You want to start here, bend with the knees, but as you go down, it's the natural bend. So you're coming down, it's a natural hinge with the hips, and then you're driving through the heels coming up. You do want to keep your chest up. You want to keep your tall chest by puffing it out and depressing your shoulders. And what I mean by that is part 2 of this, which is your elbow drive. So I see a lot of people who are doing their squat perfect, right? They're breathing, bracing, their toes are pointed out. They're driving through the heels, everything like that, right? But their elbows are up here when they're doing the squat the whole time. Look. So tell me if you see a difference between A and B. Look. Or two things. One, the elbow drive down is going to activate your lats, which is again helping the chunk of your body support all of this weight. I know there's no weight on it right now, but you guys are going to be lifting like 5,000 pounds, so you got to brace the chunk of your body, right? You don't want all of that pressure being on your spine. And the second part to that is going to be keeping your chest up tall. If you drive your elbows down, it's forcing your chest to pop up, right? You do it right now at home. So if you stand up straight and you're here, and then you drive your elbows down, what happens? You have a natural puff of the chest, right? You obviously don't want to hinge your hips like this. Keep your core tight, but drive your elbows down, which is going to create that puff of the chest, which again is going to support the chunk of your body. So now you know, 1, you know the feet positioning, you know how to drive through the heels, toes pointed out, spread the piece of paper with the knee drive, right? 2, you know how to breathe properly. Now you know when to breathe and how to breathe. And 3, now you know the posture of the squat. You know not to hinge way too much, but you know also not to sit back like this. Ow, bro, that hurt. And now you know to drive those elbows down, which is going to activate your lats. So now we can go through the full squat. Hopefully, let's see if this is still going. Oh, it is too. I thought my storage was going to be gone, but it's not. Get in there. Okay. All right, let's go through 1, 2, and 3. So, unrack the bar, right? Pow. Find your feet. So what I mean by that, find your feet positioning. This is my feet positioning. I'm comfortable here. My toes are pointed out. I'm going to be able to drive my knees out so my knees are over my ankles. I'm going to breathe properly. I'm going to breathe, brace, break the belt, go below water, breathe, brace, drive my elbows down, keep that tall chest, but not too tall. Breathe, brace, elbows down, brace the chunk of your body, go below water. Knees, drive through the heels, come up. Crazy, bro. You'll be hitting PRs in no time, trust me. Is it on? All right, watch this.
Fastest 225 lbsx5 you'll ever see. Lightweight baby.
Yes, sir.